Hi everyone, welcome to Travel with Trang and my YouTube tutorial on how to find cheap and affordable flights. I always ask people, my friends, what is like one of the biggest hurdles and obstacles that hold you back from traveling or problems you find with it? And people either say time or money. And when it comes to flights, that is going to be a big chunk of your expenses. So I'm going to show you how to find or how I find cheap flights on my own. So usually there are sites like where they have special airfares and deals, but sometimes, they only have for specific times and dates and stuff like that. And, usually those times don't work. So what I do is whenever I am planning to, let's say, pretend I'm going to, example, I'm going to London. So, and I want to go in a few months. And so what I do is I go to Google Chrome and I go to incognito window. That way, all my cookies and browsers and stuff are hidden. And so sometimes you guys don't know this, but when they see that you've been visiting the same site over and over, they can raise the prices like that. So I like using Skyscanner.com and Momondo.com, but I'll show you in this video Skyscanner because it has a feature that I really like and I really recommend all my friends all the time to book their flights here. So usually if I'm going around the world trip or something like that, obviously you book a lot of one-way tickets. So for example, you can always do round trip or multi-city, but for example, I'll just keep it simple for this example and say I'm going from Los Angeles. Let's see here, LAX. And you always want to look for you want to fly out of the major cities or largest airports. And also another thing is research does show that if you look for flights on Tuesdays, those are usually when the best in cheap airfares do show up. So let's say London. There's a couple here. But we'll just say any for now. Usually London Heathrow is the big cheap airport to fly into. This is the feature I really like the most. So you can say, you want to leave December in a few days. Or what I love is I love hitting the whole month view. And let's say you want to go in January. You can actually even do the cheapest month and see what time of the year next year is cheap. So, but let's just say I want to go in January next month. I don't know when, just whenever is cheap. If you want, you can always add nearby airports. So if you're in LA, there's always a couple other airports. If they find cheaper airfares, they'll show them up. And also the ones in London. Usually you can do nonstop flights, but usually they're more expensive. So I usually leave this unchecked for now and you can always customize it later. So as you can see, what? Okay, so one way from LA to London in January this week, usually in the middle of the week, is cheaper. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Saturdays sometimes. But so this is showing that we can go from LA to London one way in the middle of the week, or let's say even on a Friday for $158. It might not be, we'll see if it's a straight flight or not, direct flight. So you just click on show flights. Okay, so Norwegian. So that's a fairly new airline, and so it's a budget airline, which is great. So on the left side here, you can always customize. So if obviously I think doing 2 layovers, it's like a bit of pain. And again, you can customize here when you want to leave out or how long you want your flight to be, if there's a long layover, any flight airlines that you don't want to be on and whatnot. I always like this. You don't want to change airports when you're on a layover because that's very stressful. Again, it shows like different airports in LA that you can depart from and also different London airports that you can arrive at. So let's see here. And if you're a budget person, traveler, I just sort it by the cheapest. And obviously it'll show here 6:35 p.m. Norwegian nonstop for 158 bucks. So you can click here for more details, and it'll show you the flight information, and it's direct 10-hour flight, and what time it arrives. Make sure you keep track of the time changes because that throws off a lot of people. And again, you don't land in London Heathrow, you land in London Gatwick Airport, which is not too far from. You could still travel by train into the city anyways, but here you can see that kiwi.com, Flyfair, and Flight Network and stuff, these are all kind of like third-party websites, kind of like Priceline and stuff like that, where they show you where you can book them. But what I like to do is I like to go to Norwegian, their website, and then look for the same exact flight. And then if it's cheap or cheaper or the same price, I'll just book it through them. But if these third-party companies have cheaper deals, then you can just book through them instead. And then, so another feature, I'm going to just go back to the home page that I like about Skyscanner is, let's say you're feeling very adventurous, and you can just type in everywhere. And it'll show you places that are cheap anywhere in the world. For example, we can fly to somewhere in the United States for 20 bucks, or Canada, 71, Mexico. So if you're on a certain budget or you're just not sure where you want to go, this is a great feature that they offer. So let's just, for now, go to US. And I have no idea where that is. But for example, it'll show Colorado, Vegas. You can travel there, and then you can click on to see, obviously. Obviously, January is a really good month to go travel. But again, it is cold, so that's why it's usually a lot lower rates, because the temperature, and there aren't a lot of tourists around, so they need people to fly. Obviously in the summer it's going to be more expensive, but so these are just a few features that I really like about Skyscanner. So one more thing I do want to show is that, let's just take a flight here. There's a seatguru.com, and it shows what are good seats on the plane, or at least the bad seats on the plane usually. And for example, let's just take this United flight. We're saying I want to fly from LA to Denver. United flight 495. So I'll say United Airlines here. 495 on Wednesday, January 10. $2018. Pop-up ads. Okay, so it shows you LA going to Denver, and it shows you the aircraft that it's going to fly on. So you want to view the map. So many pop-ups. And it'll show you here, obviously, first class for fancy people, economy plus, and then there's economy. And so when you actually book your flights and they show you the seats that you can choose from, at least you know not to choose like this seat. If it says red, it's missing a window. If it's yellow, it's like it can be good or bad. Oh, you know, it can't recline as much, but there's like more extra footrest, foot space. And green is like, that's an awesome seat because this one has extra leg room. There you go. Obviously, you don't want to get anything in this row because it has limited reclines. So, and all these other seats are pretty much standard. So at least it shows what seats aren't the best. Again, you're not going to die anything. It's just more little comforts like that. So that's what's awesome about Seat Guru. And that is it. So that's how you use Skyscanner, and that's how you can use SeatGuru to find, in general, cheap flights and get on to your next trip. Thanks for watching.